So AI sounds confident, and that can be a real problem because sometimes it just talks rubbish. Today, I'm going to take you through a 5-step process so that you can fact check AI and make sure that you don't ever get yourself into a similar problem that these people have. You use ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, whatever you use, it will make mistakes. All of them say at the bottom, AI can make mistakes. So here is the way that I fact check everything that I put out to make sure that it's real, makes sense, and that you don't get caught out with some hallucinated fact, etc. Let's get into it. We've seen the big consulting companies produce documents that have hallucinations in. We've seen a commissioner of police have to stand down after his investigation produced a football match that didn't exist. We've seen lawyers get found out in court referencing cases that didn't exist. This is a problem. AI sometimes, and it's getting better, but sometimes gets stuff wrong. And if you put something out with something wrong in it, you can't blame the AI. It's your responsibility. So why do hallucinations happen? Well, so AI doesn't check for the truth before it speaks. All it's doing is predicting what it thinks the next right word should look like. So if you ask for a paper, a case, for facts, for information, it will create something that looks exactly like you want to see. It hasn't necessarily checked every single one of the cases it refers to. That's why the tone of AI, it's confident. That's why it's dangerous. So I've got a 5-step system that I use to check stuff from AI. And I think if you follow this system, you will have much more confidence in using this technology to support you, your research, your documents, your company insights, your blogs, whatever you're doing. If you follow this, you'll have much more confidence that you've got rid of any hallucinations and that the work is accurate and truthful. So the 5 steps are extract, source check, triangulate, challenge, and judge. And I'll go through each one of them and demonstrate how best to use them. And as always, there is a pack down below you can download with all this information in, lots of extra tips, etc. Download it, keep it next to you, go through the 5 steps when you're producing a document, and the hallucinations will reduce significantly, and you can be confident in the work that you produce. I'm going to use ChatGPT, but as always, you can use Gemini, you can use Claude, and I will show you how actually using multiple AIs is one of the ways to do this activity. So the first thing is extract. So I've got a document here I've created, which is about the disagreement between Anthropic and the Pentagon. So I produced it on Copilot because I think Copilot probably produces the most hallucinations. The first thing I'm going to do is the extract. And basically, I've put it into an AI, a different AI in this case, and I've said, break this output into 1, factual claims, 2, opinions, and 3, assumptions. List each factual claim as a separate bullet I can verify. So it will go off and read this document. So this is extracting the factual claims from the document. Here we go. And there's a whole load of them in this. It has a load of opinions and assumptions. Quick caution, a lot of this section labelled as factual in the paper is only factual if the citer's sources genuinely support. Because the reference list uses placeholders, URLs, rather than full traceable sources, several of these facts should be treated as claims by the paper until checked directly. So what this has done is taken a paper, broken it into factual claims, opinions, and assumptions. That's really helpful. When I'm going through these factual claims, I'm looking for numbers, dates, legal cases, people, company information. Those are the things that can be wrong and can cause you real problems. So that's what I'm looking for. Now there's a lot in this document. So to help me find, to go through these sources, what I'm going to do is say, highlight which of these claims are most likely to be wrong, out of date, or need verification first. So I'm using AI to check the work of AI. In this part of the process, I'm extracting the data of those claims that I think have the most potential to be dangerous, to be difficult for me. And here we go. Claims I would verify first in order of risk. There was a dispute between Anthropic and the Pentagon that emerged in early 2026. This is the single most important claim, so check this first. Where does it appear to be real March 2026 legal and policy clash involving Anthropic? And it goes through, so it's given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, highest priority, and then a whole load of next priority ones, and then the lower priority ones. If you only check 5 things, check these things. So very, very helpful. It's helping you to nail down the key things to check. So the next thing, one of the simplest things you can do is actually check the citations. So I'm going to pop this citation into Google Scholar, which is one way that you can do it, and search for it. And actually, I can't find that citation. I'll find where it might be referenced. Try again. Nope. So perhaps not cited properly. Let's use ChatGPT. What I want to do, not very helpful that it hasn't given me full citations, which is if I'd have produced this document in anything other than Copilot, so in Gemini, in Claude, or in ChatGPT, I think it would have given me proper APA referencing because that's what I asked for. So what I'm going to do is pop these into ChatGPT and say, please check these citations and give me a full APA reference for them. And this is something I do quite regularly. Manus is very good at this as well. So create a document, it's got citations in, you go through and you say, do these citations exist? Check in each source against the original publisher, get the correct APA entries, not just cleaned up placeholders. One of these already looks wrong. So if I'd have used my Copilot, and this is the Copilot Plus account, if I'd have used my Copilot Plus account to produce this document and put it out there, it would have had a wrong citation in. It would have had rubbish citations because it didn't do what I'd asked it to do, but it would have also had a wrong one. It's just not acceptable. So going through this process, checking your sources, using AI, using a different AI. I would recommend using a different AI. Even if you're using the free version of a different AI, I would suggest using a different one because I think having a different perspective is really helpful. So it's found a load of issues, corrected API references, your original entry is not verifiable as a single source. If you mean Anthropic's ethical framework, that's it. If you mean Anthropic's defense or military work, then that's it. If you mean the governance or charter structure, then that's it. Just too loose. Executive Office of the President, Google AI principles, found the URL, and given me the proper citation. But this is the cleaned up citation list. And I can say, give me an APA reference list, a cleaned up one, which I could do. So take your citations that you've got out of your document and check that they actually exist. That's step 2. That will help you. Let's move on. Okay, so the next step is triangulation. I don't want to just rely on one source of information. Is there other information that backs up that particular source? Is there something else that might be saying it? Okay, so one of the claims in my Anthropic paper is that negotiations broke down when Anthropic refused to participate in certain Pentagon projects. So that's one of the claims in the paper I wrote with Copilot. So I'm saying, verify this claim, provide only real sources, separate original sources from commentary, flag any disagreements between the sources. So this is triangulation, taking the claims that are made in the paper and then doing this triangulation. Now, of course, you can do it on Google Scholar, you can search the web yourself, but actually using AI, and as I say, use a different one. I think that's always good practice. use a different AI to do that triangulation will help you both get a deeper understanding of the subject. It will help you understand the different contexts, and it will help you make sure that what you're saying is absolutely true and give you that sort of basis for the claim that you're making. Of course, if you are doing this for an academic paper, if you are using only academic pieces of work, so not something like this, which is sort of newsy and current, but you're looking at some theory or some academic process, etc., then one of the great tools to use would be Consensus. Put a video up here that I did on Consensus, an absolutely outstanding tool for academic work, and will automatically find multiple sources, and it will identify the gaps between the sources. But let's have a look at what ChatGPT produced when I asked it to do triangulation for me. So the verdict, partly supported, but the wording is too strong. And it's gone through why that wording is difficult, refused to remove or loosen safeguards that would have allowed Claude to be used for mass domestic surveillance or fully autonomous weapons. That's what the claim is really about. And here are the original sources. So from Dario Amodi, saying that Anthropic's objectives were limited to mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons, so you can't use it for that. And then there's another piece here from Anthropic on the 27th of February, and then one on the 5th of March. And then a series of bits of commentary. So Reuters, 4 pieces from Reuters, and where the sources disagree or do not line up, negotiations broke down. It's not confirmed by the primary sources. Refused to participate in certain Pentagon projects is a bit too broad. They only refuse to remove safeguards or permit Claude's use for mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons. So going through this process on each of the claims in whatever you're saying is a way of triangulating, finding other bits that fit with it, and really understanding where there might be disagreement, and really helpful in writing a high quality document. Okay, let's move on to step 4. So we've extracted the data, we have done source checking, we've done triangulation. The next thing I would suggest is that you challenge the AI. So I've reloaded the whole document, and I'm going to say very simply, how confident are you in this answer? Score each claim out of 10 and explain why. But what I want it to do is go through and then score each of the claims in this document so that I can get a sense of how confident it is. Now, you might do this in the original AI, or you might get another AI, as I've done in this case, to do that scoring for you. But this will give you insight into the strength of the document that you're producing. Remember, some of these things, if you are commenting on something that's going on and a lot of it's about your own point of view, might not be so important. But if you're doing something that's really high stakes, then really important to go through these different steps. So here we go. So the confidence in this answer that was produced by Copilot. So in terms of ChatGPT, it is only 3 out of 10. That tells you something. 3 out of 10 for something that's been produced by Copilot, which uses ChatGPT. You need to be careful with this stuff. I'm sure if I'd have done something in Claude or Gemini, it would have been better than this. I chose Copilot because I know it's a bit wobbly in these areas. Here we go. We've got all of the claims, 9 out of 10. So even the best claim is only 9 out of 10. It's not 10 out of 10. It's not sure. And that was Anthropic was founded in 2021. So not really a high stakes issue. If you get that wrong, if you're a couple of years out, who's going to really care? But then we get down to Anthropic was approached to provide technical expertise to access its proprietary AI systems. 4 out of 10. It's plausible, but there's no source for that. Another 4 out of 10. This led to public statements from both parties and the wider industry debate. Reuters supports litigation and public dispute, but I do not see clear sourcing here for formal public statements from both sides in a way that the paper suggests. You might want to rewrite that. Oh, we do have a 10 of 10. 10 out of 10. The US government issued a 2023 AI executive order, and the Department of Defense adopted ethical principles for AI in 2020. This is solid. So happy with that, but not much else. 3 out of 10 here. Anthropic's leadership said in 2025 that AI should not be deployed where it poses significant risk to human rights or safety. No public statement could be found. 3 out of 10. And it gives me a list of the shakiest parts of the answer. Really, really useful. So get the AI, challenge it to give you a breakdown of what it's produced. Really, really helpful. Again, gives you better insight. You're going to know this document by the time you've been through this process. You're going to have checked things. You're going to be confident with it. You're going to have a document at the end that you can be confident with. Really, really powerful. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay, the final step, judge. And that's human judgment. So this is the step that most people will go, oh, I don't need to do that. I've done all of these checking. I've done the source checking. I've done triangulation. I've extracted all the information that's important. I've got AI to test itself, but you need to read it. It's going out under your name. You need to read it. You need to make sure it makes sense. It holds together. It has a narrative. It has a story. And without that, you're taking a serious risk. So human judgment is the final one, but don't skip it, please, because you will spot things that the AI hasn't spotted up to now. And the questions to ask: does it make sense? Would I put my name to it? Do the numbers look sensible? Do they look too neat? Are they all rounded off? Are any quotes that are in there sensible? Have you checked them? Are you sure they make sense? Was any of the sources that are used in this document just too hard to find? If so, they might not be real. And do the claims conveniently support what you wanted to say or what you think the AI wanted to say? Has it challenged itself? Has it put the balance in that you need for a well-rounded document? If the claims feel surprising, check harder. The claims feel useful, check again. The claims feel perfect, definitely check harder. So here's the irony. Probably one of the best ways to use AI safely is to use AI properly, to create strong prompts, to get it to check its own work, to use multiple AIs to check its work, to ensure that it triangulates, to push back on what it says. But often we don't do that. And it's very easy to get a very quick response. But if you get a very quick response, you're quite likely to be embedding and baking in problems for yourself in the future. So as I've said, using multiple AIs can be really, really helpful. Use Perplexity to do your search. Use Claude to check those searches. Use ChatGPT to create the document. Use Manus to check that document and make sure it all makes sense, that all the claims in the document are relevant to what the actual document's saying. Now, not everything needs the same level of checking. Low stakes activity, spend a bit of time, don't kill yourself. But high stakes activity, absolutely. Check, and check again. You will end up with a really strong document. You will end up really understanding the document, getting under the skin of the document, and you'll end up with something that you can trust and that other people can trust as well. So don't forget, extract, check your sources, triangulate, challenge the AI, and then use your human judgment. That's how you stop AI secretly smuggling errors into your work. download the framework in the document down below. There's lots of other tips there as well that you can use to help you produce even better, more trusted, more effective documents through using AI. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I do these videos because I want you guys to use this technology effectively and safely to make your work more effective, to produce more outputs, etc. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a like. And if you're not already, please subscribe. That really helps. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.